Welcome everyone, and thank you for attending this session at the B2B Virtual Marketing Expo, a new format this year. My name is Mark McClure, Managing Director and Founder of Stream Loyalty, and I'm going to be talking to you about loyalty and why it really is your biggest asset at the moment. So let's just run over a few facts. So loyalty in both B2B and B2C, whichever your market is absolutely crucial, especially right now. It's very key that you retain your existing customers. We're seeing a lot of customers struggling with getting new business, so keeping and loving the customers you've got right now is incredibly important. It's also a great time to build trust in your brand, show your customers how you can support them. Many businesses are struggling in many different ways, and anything you can do to help your customers is going to help build loyalty for the future. Also, loyalty and how you use it is all about bringing those customers back to spending with you, but also thinking about how you can get them spending more often, so a greater order frequency, and also a greater share of wallet. What else can you get them to do to behave differently and buy more from you? And then, of course, one of the things I want to touch on using loyalty as an asset is how can you use your existing customers to help you with that challenge of winning new customers, and there's ways and techniques of doing that. And of course, crucial in a loyalty program, if you do have a loyalty program, is how can you use that to reward all of those people in the most effective and efficient way. And if you get all of this right, then you will see that loyalty really is your biggest asset, and I will touch on how that actually can also be tangible. So just some statistics from the loyalty world about how loyalty is viewed. So in the consumer space particularly, nearly 90% of customers actually want a loyalty program. They'll use it as part of their decision-making process, but once you've got them, nearly half of them will spend more once they're part of your loyalty program, and they will also do what you really value, which is change their buying behaviors to actually see if they can, maximize the benefits they can get from it. So done well, loyalty can be extremely fruitful, both in the B2B and B2C markets. And there's a lot we can learn in the B2B markets from B2C, because remember that we now have a lot of our customers working from home, as we're now halfway through a second lockdown, and let's hope it ends soon. But those customers are actually, when they switch off their laptops or go home if they are in an office, they are actually B2C customers. So a lot of what we can learn from the B2C world is very transferable into B2B. Now, 65% of business comes from existing customers, but it's amazing how few of us actually focus on that. Once you've got a loyal customer, they will give you nearly 3 times as much business, and they will stay very loyal to businesses that understand them, and very loyal to those that give them a great customer experience and really understand them. And in fact, in the B2B space, nearly 80% of customers actually buy on relationships and customer experience. So getting it right is crucial. And 82% of companies agree that retaining customers is cheaper than acquiring them. But it's then amazing how that behavior doesn't marry out, and we spend a lot of time on focusing on how to acquire new ones. So if you can focus on how to retain your customers and keep them loyal, then statistics show that just 5% retention flows through very quickly to the bottom line, and you can actually increase profits by nearly 95%. That's a tried and tested statistic, and I'll show you the source of these at the end. So what are companies doing well in this environment with loyalty, and how can you learn from that? So I'm just going to run through a few things that's happening at the moment. So in the first lockdown period, and I suspect we'll be seeing it in this one, some of the retail brands looked at the schemes they've got and how they can use them to help and support customers. So they became more flexible on the expiry dates of things. They became more flexible on the earning rates of things. You've seen complete opening ups of some of the consumer-based airline, hotel, and retail programs, and they've lowered price points, they've extended deadlines, they've been really flexible. We've also seen some really nice innovations in charitable donations. So You've seen a lot of schemes that are now looking at ways that you can actually donate points to charity. That's actually been used also in the B2B space, and that's obviously giving customers a good feeling about your brand. And when you've got an accrued balance on a program, it's great to see it going to a good cause, and that obviously gives something that you can get some good PR out of. We're seeing a lot of partnerships, affiliations, scheme refreshes, and some of these stretch back to way before the whole COVID situation. We're seeing partnerships, how you can make your programs enter sort of Loyalty 2.0, even Loyalty 3.0. And in some instances, Domino's actually had a program where through their loyalty program, you could actually become an equity shareholder in the business, which is, I guess, the ultimate in loyalty. And we're seeing complete refreshes where there's the ability to give away, to donate points, surprise and delight rewards. And we're even seeing some programs like Club Rakuten, where there's actually going to potentially be ways that you can transfer points, not just to charity, but across to other programs. So I think we'll see a lot in the consumer space. And as I said, all of that is very transferable. And we are using that ourselves a lot in the B2B space, which is one of our areas of speciality. The other thing I want to talk about is that loyalty really can become a very tangible asset. Of course, you've got all the assets that go with loyalty, that the data that it drives out to you can be extremely powerful, and you can use that to focus on how you twist and shape your offers to customers so that you can focus on increasing their spend, on changing their buying behaviors and buying different things and more often, and creating a different share of wallet. But it's that data that actually becomes a really, really valuable part of your business. And it can be extremely tangible on your balance sheet. So for those of you that are here in a marketing role, which as it's the B2B Marketing Expo, I imagine is a great deal of us, you'll be pleased to know that you can potentially CapEx as a capital expenditure any expense on a loyalty program, which takes it away from your marketing budget and operating expenditure, and you can actually then put it on your balance sheet and it becomes a tangible asset. So speak to your FDs and your CFOs about that. And I'm going to give you an example here. This is an article. This came from an article in the FT back in September, where it was showing that the airline programs are now valued at higher than the market cap of their own airlines. Now, obviously, it relies on the airlines still running for the points within those schemes to be redeemable. Let's assume they are. But you've got Delta, for example, market cap around $20 billion. Their airline program's been valued at $26 billion. So that almost makes the rest of the business worth -6. Obviously not quite right. But the point I'm making is that a good loyalty program actually is a tangible asset to your business and can sit on your balance sheet. So how can you use loyalty to keep customers and win customers? So our mantra is that loyalty is about helping you to keep, grow, and win customers. Now, the keeping customers, obviously, customer retention is a big focus at the moment, as I said at the beginning. And it's 5 times easier to keep a customer than acquire one. So it's quite interesting that businesses spend 3 times more on trying to acquire customers than keeping them. Now, I know that in some B2B businesses, there's an argument that comes back the other way saying, well, that's what the key account team are all about. That's what their focus is. But actually, having a good loyalty strategy that keeps your customers can actually be transferred into using those customers to help you win more. And in the B2B space, it's amazing how few of us actually ask for referrals. A study showed that 91% of customers that are happy with your brand would actually be happy to refer a contact of theirs to you if they are happy with the service you offer. But very few businesses actually ask for it. So, frighteningly, sub 15% of sales and account management staff actually ask for referrals from customers. And of course, if you can get a referral versus a customer or an inquiry that you've acquired from other sources, from other marketing activities, a referred customer is 4 times more likely to convert into business for you. So a referred lead is 4 times more likely to convert into business than won from other channels. So well worth thinking about how loyalty can help you, it can become part of your customer acquisition strategy. So I just want to, before I finish, give you sort of 4 pillars of loyalty, and I'm going to give you some tips on our 5 top tips, and then open it up to any questions you might have. So we think of these as the 4 pillars of loyalty. So pillar 1 is keep a focus on your best customers. So in any business, we have the Pareto law that cuts through almost every business I've ever met. And that'll be that your top 20% of your customers will probably deliver 80% of your business. So you've got to have a focus on who those high potential customers who can have the biggest impact on your business are, and make your offering very focused for them, or at least part of your offering. Because those people can be the guys who can help you to shape the program so they can actually become your champions, if you like. But they can also be the people who you can ask to refer, give you feedback. There's a lot they can do to help you acquire new customers. And it doesn't need to be simply referring. It can be, actions that help you in your marketing activities. So providing feedback, providing things that you can then use to help you with customer acquisition. So have a great focus on those key customers. We call those the ones you need to keep. You can't necessarily grow them, but they are fundamental to your business, so you need to work out how to keep them. Next thing is make sure that your proposition is compelling. It's very easy to get this wrong, to get too focused on what we're going to offer people as part of a loyalty solution. If it's not relevant to the customers, it's not going to engage them. So it's got to be matched to their needs and wants, first and foremost. And it's also got to be consistent with your brand. So don't run off in directions that are distracting and devalue your brand. The other thing is, put your customer hat on. So too many times we have seen loyalty propositions that slightly forget where the customer might view them. So make sure in anything you do that you're able to step into the customer's shoes and evaluate it from that perspective. And of course, make sure that your proposition fits all parties. So segment your customers. We've talked about the keep customers. A large other chunk of them will be the ones that have the potential to grow. But there'll be a long tail in any business. So you might want to be treating a certain segment of those in a different way to another. So make sure that you segment your customers and work out how you get the offering right for each particular segment. Create a foundation of communication, and that's right the way from the top and through your business. So loyalty starts from within. And if you don't embed a good loyalty strategy or a loyalty culture within your business, it can so often founder. And as marketeers, I'm sure you've seen this, that there's just the simple disconnect between marketing and sales. Well, the same holds true in loyalty to a much worse extent, because if you don't have customer services aligned to loyalty, and loyalty is a culture in the organization and communication that flows from that, it can go badly wrong. So use the opportunity, we talked about data earlier, to take the data, to measure every interaction, to analyze every engagement with your brand, whatever it might be, through what sort of communications, when is it that the customers are communicating and engaging with you, and use this data and personalize the way you do it to the level that's not restrictively time-consuming. But also, don't over-communicate, because part of the program, part of the secret of loyalty is that you need to create a compelling reason for them to come back to you, rather than continuously throwing communications at them. So create a good foundation of communication, get it right, and don't over-communicate. And then make sure you measure. As tailors say, measure twice, cut once. In this instance, measure is our mantra. So rigorously measure what you're doing and consistently have a culture of improvement. So look at the data, assess successes, iterate successes, and learn from failures. It's possible to get things wrong, or to find that things don't quite go the right way or aren't taken up the way you'd like them. But use loyalty and use those experiences to create continuous improvement, because continuous improvement that fits with your brand and marries the evolution of your business. So if you're evolving your products, then evolve your program. And constant evolution of a loyalty program will be absolutely fundamental to its success. So I just want to give you our 5 quick tips of loyalty, and then I'll wrap up and open it up to any questions if we've got some time. So first of all, top tip in loyalty is ensure customers understand the journey. Make anything that you are doing in loyalty simple to understand. Try and get people engaged with it early on. So as you're bringing a customer into any sort of a loyalty journey with you, try and make the first engagement simple and give them an incentive for joining you on that journey. So keep it simple. You can obviously evolve it as you go along and as your customers can grow with you, but keep it simple in the initial stages. Where so many programs go wrong, and there's a very well-known stat that 77% of programs go wrong in the first 2 years because they haven't been implemented properly. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that anything you're doing regarding a reward for actions is achievable. If customers can't see a way to being able to redeem something that they have earned from a loyalty proposition within the first 3 months, they're going to disengage. So make sure it's achievable. If you can get it achievable, they're 6 times more likely to engage. And make it simple to redeem. If it's a complex process to redeem and the rewards are very minor, you're also going to find that you don't get engagement. So make sure that the redemptions are easy and simple, and the process is nice and simple, it's clear, and the journey for that is easy to achieve. I talked about this earlier. Don't treat all customers equally. You need to segment your business into different types of customers and potentially run different loyalty campaigns, for want of a better word, to them. So your keep customers, you might want to have a totally different way of approaching them to different elements of the ones that can grow. And finally, don't overinvest in it. So don't get the metrics right, because what you don't want to do is reward people for doing what they're already doing. A good loyalty program should be about encouraging people to change their behaviors, stretch a bit further, and if you get the base level right, you can then increase the increments. But if you get the base funding wrong, then it will go badly wrong for you. So those are our 5 top tips. And my final summary before we open up for questions is very simply 3 things. Right now, at the moment, customer retention is absolutely key, and I think we're going to see that for at least the next 12 months, possibly longer. And we're going to see a lot of reticence to changing suppliers unless there's a very good reason to do so. So keeping customers is absolutely key. And use those customers, as I said earlier, to help you acquire new ones, because it's quite challenging at the moment to acquire new customers, and a really strong, loyal customer base that refers you can get you leads converted 4 times quicker than any other channels. And then finally, just remember that actually loyalty is an investment. And if you get it right, it's a very tangible asset. Speak to your CFOs, speak to your FDs about how you can actually CapEx some of these expenditure and stick it onto your balance sheet. And my final thing is to say that we run a loyalty clinic every month where you can come along for free, have a half-hour slot, bring us your challenge, and if it would be that an existing loyalty program you've got a challenge on, or how do I begin one, we host them every month. You can get the details off our website, streamloyalty.com, and our next one is on the 27th of November. So thank you for your time, and I'd now like to open it up to any questions.